Hey there, everyone. This is Doc in retrospect. I don't usually do this, but this is what happens when I accidentally forget to take my headphones off of mute. Fun times. Anyway, in this video, I go up against Aero Man. That's Aero as in A-E-R-O, not as in A-R-R-O-W. But to me they sound the same, so whatever. Yeah, not much to say. This is kind of unusual for me, so I don't really have anything particularly prepared, but I'm going to give it my best effort anyway. So as you can see, there's a lot of windmills in the background here. Pretty soon we're going to have windmills in the foreground too. This stage's gimmick is rotating platforms. Oh, and as you can see, we have the thorn spread here. It's not as useful as one would hope. I mean, it's got a lot of ammo and it fires 4 shots. The problem is it doesn't fire any shots forward, which means that you basically have to be firing at an angle to hit anything with it. Which, you know, directional weapons are nice, but you also prefer weapons that can fire forward if you need them to. Ah yes, here we are. These windmill platforms, they give me a fair amount of trouble on this stage. Yeah, and there you would see why. It's my fault, really. You have to let the platforms come back the whole way before you can land on them. But I tend to be a little bit hasty, so I just run through this again. It's not a bad stage, but it is difficult. It's one of the more difficult stages, and you'll see that I have a little more trouble with it later. Anyway. I do like that those bird enemies come down from the ceiling very slowly, giving you a chance to anticipate them. They're not quite like the enemies that ambush you from out of pits, which always come really quickly. And hey, here, I can get past them. Yes, I can. Just in time to not blow myself up. One thing about this stage, about this game, the enemy respawns can be kind of unforgiving. Oh hey, this screen. You'll notice that I kind of missed something that is a pretty crucial element to something I want in this screen here, even though I find another secret to it. So see if you can figure out what it is before I get to it next time. Because yes, I will be back. Up here is a nifty little secret, an M-tank. Too bad I already have one, so I can't really make use of this. But it's worth a shot. It's worth getting anyway, just for the heck of it. Now here is where things start to get a little bit on the iffy side for me. It's not the game. This is definitely not the game's fault. This is my fault. I kind of played really badly here. Which, you know, isn't terribly unusual given that I tend not to play that well overall. And once again, I seem to insist on trying to get up to the ceiling to scroll the screen when that isn't possible. So here, I'm a bit of a bonehead, and forget what is solid and what isn't. That will hurt me, as you can see right now. Puffballs galore! Yeah, not my finest moment. But hey, we all make those mistakes, don't we? At least don't we all make those mistakes. Fortunately, I did just pass the midpoint, so this isn't too much of a bother. But the next couple of deaths I have, yeah. Oh, I'm kind of spoiling things, but, well, you'll see them anyway. So, yeah, the trick here is that you can't go you can't land on any of the platforms you dropped down that hit the first time, so you have to switch the switch, and then you can walk on those and get to this screen again. Which means you can move on. It's a very circuitous route. I don't really understand why someone would design buildings that way. It doesn't really make sense. Their employees would have so much trouble with that. And even if your employees are all robots... Hey, me, stop. You cannot go up. You cannot... You can't... Me, stop. Come on, listen to me. I know you're... I'm from the future. I know the things that you don't know. Man, I can be such a pain sometimes. Ah, yes. Okay, this is the screen that I don't like. For a few reasons. There's too many of these windmills and too many of these fans. And one of them is going to get me in trouble. Yep, it's the fan. The fan's the first one to get me in trouble. Oh boy. Oh, and I kind of teleport back here and die again. This time it's the windmill. It's tricky. Alright, so let's just hide mode for the rest of this. Because you've seen this all before. Yeah, it's not a terribly long section, but it's annoying. Oh yeah, I do figure out that this guy is really weak to the diamond weapon, which is good because there's actually a use for the diamond weapon. It's not really that good of a weapon overall, really. It doesn't do enough damage when it splits apart, and it doesn't fire far forward enough to really hit enemies in front of you. So here we have Aero Man. I've commented before about the weird design choices of these robot masters, and Aero Man kind of fits right in. But, you know, whatever. He also apparently has stolen Sheep Man's weapon, the Thunder Wool, and he can't do anything more with it than Mega Man can. I like the concept, it just didn't work in execution. Aero Man... much the same. He didn't really work in execution either. And for defeating Aero Man, we get the Speed Wing, which is easily the goofiest Robot Master weapon I've ever seen. It'll be demonstrated a little bit further on here after the jump. Aero Man's movement is kind of odd in this game. I didn't play him enough to really know if that's how he moved in the Wii games. Okay, here's Speed Wing. I still find that funny. Speed Wing, it's a bomber airplane that fires forward. Oh, and I guess I jumped all the way to where that wall was. Yep, that's the way to the letter. You have to break open that wall using the camo missile. Yeah, Speed Wing. It's weird. It's not really that powerful, and it moves too quickly to get a lot of consecutive hits in with the bombs. But one advantage that I discover later on, so I'll spoil it for you here, is that the plane itself picks up items for you. But there's a caveat to that, which I won't spoil because it's too funny to spoil. You'll see that later. This section is much like that last screen before the boss, in that it has a lot of these broken windmill platforms and spikes above and below. I hit the spikes a lot. Yeah, here we have a bit of a death montage. I don't cut here because, well, that's why. It's really not that bad a section. It's worse than I make it out to be. I use platforms a lot to help me out in this area later, but it's just that I just wasn't very on with these precise jumps today. Yeah, it does require a lot of touch or a lot of using item 1. Either which will work. Actually, item 1 is very effective. Yep, I think we start seeing me use it right here. So yeah, use that, you can get through pretty easily. I don't know if I've mentioned it in the video itself, but Pro Man's item 1 spawns appears to spawn lower than Mega Man's does, which is about the only difference I can find between them, apart from the 2 shots versus 3 shots thing. But that can be a little bit useful, especially if you have a low ceiling. It means you have a little less height to worry about, and you can maybe shorten your jump a little bit more. It also makes these a little bit easier, because the lower you have your platform, the less you have to jump. There's the letter, but first time around, yeah, that was poorly done. So, as a consequence, I can't go back, but fortunately, since I have an extra life, that guy, I do not use blaze cannon against that guy because it doesn't work very well. Oh yeah, he dropped a life from me too. So I am getting lives all over the place here, which is good because I'm going to sacrifice one to start back at the midpoint, which means I can get back to that letter. And yeah, I'll just quickly speed through the rest of this, because it's pretty much just do the same thing that I did before, without really having any of the troubles that I had the first time. So yeah, I like this. I like multiple paths, especially when they both connect further, but you do have rewards for going one way as opposed to the other. Even though this is a bit of a detour as opposed to a shortcut or a lateral path, it's still pretty nice. It shows that the game maker put a lot of effort into it. Well, I think this is about where I cut, so until next time, this is Doc.